So good evening. Nice to see all of you. By the way, we have another 6 topics. Let me see in our teaching plan. Yes, we have another 6 topic which will be held today and for the next classes. And I would like to request you to have 2 sessions on the next week, which will be the first at the Thursday and the Friday. So, because I'm trying to complete this semester by the 10th of August, as we had previously, we had some, as I remember, we replaced the classes and so on, and as well to give you a free time to complete your group assignment. So, and as well I have some trip. That's why I'm gonna to complete this semester by the 10th of August, which means as we have 6 topics, which is the rest, for the next 2 weeks, we will have 2 classes on a week, at Thursday and then Friday. So let me see and if you are agree with that. Because as I know, at the Thursday day, you have a free day from the classes, right? So we can quickly complete this semester and you would have free time to complete your group assignment. As well, the topics are not so, let's say, difficult compared to financial management, almost based on theory. That shouldn't be like hard for you. So let me know if you are agree to hold 2 classes on a week for the next 2 weeks, at the Thursday and the Friday. Thank you. That I hope almost for you would be fun, right? So you will have more free time to complete your group assignment. Because the submission date of your group assignment is the 1st of September. I hope you remember that you should submit me at the 1st of September. And by the way, if you have any question at the moment, based on the group assignment, you should ask me. Then I will be able to answer, to reply you. Okay, that's why. Okay, thank you very much that you have been agreed with the classes. So as well, the notice information will be sent you through the email. And for those students who hasn't attended the class right now. So today we have a new topic based on the leadership and change. So we're going to talk about the leaders, the types of leaders, about leadership and the relationship between the leader and its group members. And as well, we're going to have discussion about the change. What is the change? How the changes happens in the organizations? What influences the changes? And let's say what kind of factors influence the changes, and what can resist to the changes. So we're going to study about the factors of resistance as well. And all of this information must be familiar with you, with your organizations, and something you might be finding new one for yourself. So the scientist, which is not House, he suggested that we have 4 components which can characterize the leadership, which means can identify the leadership. First, he says that the leadership is a process. Okay, to be a leader, to lead the people, and to be in relations with the group members, it's a process. As well, it involves influence, which means influence. Influence from side of a leader to its group members. And it occurs within the group context. That means the leadership, of course, occurs when we have two or more people, where we can identify a leader among the rest of people, among the rest of members, right? And as it involves the goal attainment, which means the leader's main functions is to make its members to reach the goals, right? That's what happens in any organizations. Let's say we have top managers. Top managers are actually leaders. Yeah, they are trying to make all the rest of staff to reach the organization's corporate goals, like, as you know, to increase the sales, to encourage the development, let's say, to involve and to acquire the new customers, to increase the profits and all the rest of sales and so on. This is the main goals that we have in any corporate, the company or organizations. And the leaders, they are influencing the rest of members in the group, or let's say in the team, to reach those goals. And here we have the statement by Shackleton, which explains the same thing that explained the North House. You see, we have a difference. At the North House, he has given us, let's say, the leadership determination at 2006, which is similar to Shackleton at 1995. So that means we have one interpretation of leadership, which is the same with the oldest with the reasons of people. Like here it says that leadership is a process in which an individual, like who is the leader, right, influence the other group members toward the attainment of group organization goals. As you can see, this is the same interpretation of leadership that given us from the North House. And we have some traits of leaders, which means how we can identify or characterize the characteristics of a leaders. Who is actually the leaders? They are drive to achieve the goals, to achieve the aims, right? The motivation to lead. That means they have a motivation to lead. They know what motivates people actually to reach the goals. They are actually honesty and integrity. They have to be honesty and integrity with their members, because as let's say we are just a group members, we have to trust for our leader to follow him, right? We have to believe him to follow him. As well, their self-confidence. They include the ability to withstand the setbacks, like they know what they do. They have arguments for all the, let's say, the goal they're going to attain. They stand firm and being emotionally resilient. This is very important. The leaders must be emotionally resilient, which means emotionally stable. They are cognitive ability, and they must have a knowledge of the business. Of course, if you are a leader, if you want to be a leader, you are planning to lead the people, to lead the company, to make people to follow you, you should have a knowledge of the skills of the business, what you are going to do, right? So this is the main traits of leaders. Most of scientists they explain as Kilpatrick and Locke the same characteristics. And right now I have some leadership styles that is given to you by the Blake and Mountains. They explain that let's say in social among all the peoples we have 4 kind of leadership styles that we can identify. The first is called the country club management. This might be familiar for you. This is a leadership style that you can identify among your leaders. Country club management. Sorry, let me highlight it. And yeah, country club management. This is those leaders who high concerns for people, which means for people, for the group or team members, but they actually low concerns about the production itself, about the business itself. And this kind of leader we call like a country club their management, actually their style of management we call country club management. Another kind of management style we have, which calls the authority compliance management. This kind of leaders who low concerns about people, about their staff members, but high concerns about the production, about their business actually. And you might see this kind of leaders, you might be don't satisfied with their management because they don't care about the people, about the staff, about like colleagues, about their members who is working together with. But there are more attainment for the production, which means they concern more for the business, how to increase the profits and sales. And this kind of management we call the authority compliance management. Another kind of management we have some empowership management, which here is the most worst management styles among the leaders because they low concerns about the people and as well low concerns about the production. Then here is the results comes very easily, right? What kind of leaders who actually doesn't concern about the people and the business at overall. So this kind of we can't call as the leaders. And the best, let's say, the management style among the leadership, we call it team management. As you can see, this is all as well. It should be familiar for you. Like today, at the present time, we in most of corporations and organizations, we use the team management style, right? This is the leaders who concerns about the people and as well concerns about the business. So the best management style, or we can say the best leader who concerns equally for the people and for the business, for the production together at the same level. This is, we can say, the team management style. This is the best management that we can see in the organization. If you can identify this kind of team management in your organization, that you have been lucky to work with that leaders. But as I have to say that most of our leaders belongs to maybe for authority compliance management, which low concerns about the people but more concerned about the businesses, right? You must see this is a very frequent situation that happens in the organizations. But today we are willing to reach the team management style at the organizations. So this is the full leader style that's been represented by the black and mountains. So any questions so far? If no, we can move. Another kind of leadership styles I would like to present you, which is report by Goldman. Here is the Goldman, another scientist. He represents the 6 kind of leadership styles. Let's see. The first one is called the coercive style. Coercive style. This is a leader who demands immediate compliance. The next one is authoritative style. The leader mobilizes the people towards the vision. This is mostly happens in the organization that the vision or mission says that is the most important in the organization and we have to reach that. And another one, affiliative style. The leader creates emotional bonds and harmony in the company. And it's similar to club management style, right? And we have some democratic style. The leaders which use the participation to build the consensus. And the 5th is a pace-setting style, which the leader expects the excellence and self-direction from followers. So they're trying to make them, let's say, the group members or team members, make them more freely and follow their own direction, which means work like more individually, have own ideas, and maybe to follow, to make their own project, let's say. But all must be, of course, must be led by the leaders. This is pace-setting style. And the last one is coaching style, which presents by Goldman. He said that it's those leaders who develops the people for the future. This, let's say, this is the people who like teachers. They are trying to develop the rest of members for their future, like offering them the training and learning courses and trying to develop their skills and knowledge. This is same situation happens in the organizations. If your organization, let's say your top managers, giving you some opportunity to study, let's say, to get some training, learning courses, this coaching style leaders. So they are, let's say, their concerns mostly about their members, about their future. As well, we can say this is the best style in the leadership styles. Yes, they are mostly like teachers of the future leaders, we can say, the teachers of the future leaders. We must have this kind of people, because if we would like to learn to get a new knowledge, skills, and we need this kind of people who teach us, who study, who lead us how to be a leader, right? This is the coaching style leaders. So actually, if we would see some leadership styles, you can see that different scientists, they give a few different leadership styles, and they might be differ or might be in some situations, but it depends, of course, individually. What you are willing to, for which you are willing to, and depends on the organization as well. What demands the goals of organizations, and based on these all factors, we can create some leadership style. As well, you can create your own leadership style if you have a different view on the leadership. Let's say maybe you have a different view. You are maybe expecting from the leaders to be more individually freely, or at a different, like a backside, to be more coercive together, work in one group, like one team, or make them like competitors to identify the future's leaders. So it depends individually. Any leader can create its own leadership style. But the best important things, does this leadership style works actually? Can you lead the rest of members to attain the goals? If your leadership style works, that why not? You can apply it, right? And we have some another kind of identification of the leadership. The Cotter, he gives us the identification or determination of leaders. He says that the leaders, they are establishing a direction. They create actually a direction, a way, whereas the managers plan it, means they create, they manage the plans and budget of the organizations, right? The leaders, they align people with the vision. They organize the things. They make things. They create the vision and missions. The leaders motivate and inspire, which means whereas the manager control and solve problems. First of all, they should to know how to motivate his or her group members, how to motivate them, how to inspire them to make things that you need for. They should know also as well how to solve the problems, right? The way of solving problems. And as well, the most important things, they have to control the team members. You must have the ability to control your team members. To be a leader, to lead them, you should as well to control and monitor their work. And the leaders, they encourage the change. This is the second important thing. They have to encourage the change. They have to encourage the rest of members to make the changes. Like for example, if you're in your company, if you're for your company being introduced a new program, let's say like maybe some corporate culture could be, or the program, let's say, which is based on your working conditions, like the program for PC or something else. It's never mind what kind of program could be introduced for you, but the leader, they have to encourage the rest of people, the rest of staff, let's say, the employees, to make those changes, to make those changes, which means to learn for new things and try to work on the new conditions. This is the leaders who has this kind of, let's say, the ability. And we have a lot of scientists who has some advices, or let's say the recommendations for us how to be a leader, how to be the best leader, what we should, and they explain what we should have to be a leader, what kind of abilities, let's say what kind of the emotionally characteristics we should have. And here is interesting statement I have for you. You can think about that. That Hayes and Laurie, they suggest that the leaders, they do not need to know all the answers, which means for the questions, but they do need to know the right questions. So this is a statement for you to think about this. Like, who is the leader? There shouldn't be some, let's say, like high knowledgeable, multi-skilled, and have a few degrees, diplomas in master and PhD, and know everything. They just should to know the direction where to go, to make a right question for its for their members, for their staff, for their followers, right? They should have or make some guide for followers, or let's say the direction or ways how to go, what to do, but not the answers for all the questions that we have in the world. This statement belongs for the Lori and Havers, and I think there is this statement gives us a very quite expanding knowledge about the leaders. Who is the leaders? They should know or have the ability how to lead the people to make those things which is they don't know, let's say, or cannot make it, can't make it, or let's say which is being attained to reach some goals. This is the leaders. And another kind of statement is given by Higgs. He agreed that the leaders need have some combinations of skills and personality. This might be useful for you. What kind of skills and personality we should have to be a leader, let's say? Envisioning, which means to make a vision, to create a vision. Engaging, to try to engage all the members in the group. Enabling, ability to have some ability to lead the people and to make them to follow you. Inquiring and developing skills are needed as well. Like they always should develop their skills, knowledge, all experiences. Must be in process of learning. Together with the authenticity, integrity, willing, which means reaching, the self-belief, to believe yourself, to believe in your, let's say, for your all advantages you have it, and some self-awareness, to be careful, and the most important as well, to be emotionally stable, right? This we talk about this. There is given to you there's some skills and personality that, let's say, the leader would have. If you, let's say, if not you, let's say someone have no any kind of the personality or skills, it's not a problem, because we can develop it, or we can combine with, or we can let's say summarize with another of skills and person which is would be more important in the leadership. Let's say like a communication. If you have very high communication skills, that would be the greatest the personality of yourself, that you can communicate, you can have a relation with all of people or different kinds of people. That means you can explain, and the rest of can understood and follow your vision. So that's all about the leadership. We have identified what is the leadership, the styles of leadership, let's say the characteristics, all the skills and personality of leaders. You might be familiar with them, or you can get some in you, let's say, the identification of a leader. So the next part of class will be based on the change. What the changes that happens in the organizations. At the moment, if you have any kind of questions based on the leadership, leadership styles, and all the things that we have taught about the leaders. If you, as well, if you search in, let's say, in internet, you would find a lot of kind of the different leadership styles, or let's say the identifications or the traits as well. But most of them are willing to, for those we have thrown away right now. They have the same skills and personality that I have been present to you. So we have some questions to explain the difference between the mentoring and coaching. Let's go back. That is based on the leadership styles on Goldman, right? So coaching style here is, this is like a teaching style, the training style. And mentoring, we have now, here is right now the mentoring. As you know, we have a different leadership styles, and we can call them with the different words that can be like synonyms, which give us the same identification. But first of all, you should know what includes, what kind of interpretation includes. If the interpretation of different names of leadership styles are the same, that means that this is the same leadership style. So it's based on the context of the style itself. So let me see, I have some questions here. So the coaching and the mentoring styles are the same because this is, let's say, we can call it like with a synonym word, training or teaching style. Leaders who develops the people for the future, those leaders who develops the members, their skills and knowledges, trying to make them better, to have to be a future leader, and to attain all the goals that they are willing to, based on all the train learning opportunities that we can get in the organizations. This is all like, if you can see in your organization, let's say your top management offering you the training, learning, all the courses, which we can say like your organization has some research and development program for your staff. That's a coaching style of the leadership, of a leadership. That they are trying to teach you, to give you new knowledge and skills, to develop you actually with the organizations. So that's all for the leadership. Yes, this is the same as training, as I told you, like a coaching style. We can say like a training style, or like a learning style, or like a teaching style. What actually, for example, the lecturers do with the students, they are trying to develop the students' skills and the knowledge, right? For their future, for their own future. This is the same we can say right now between me and you as students. This is the more, and we can see this same state at the organizations. When your top manager, like offering for the department some training courses. This is as well the coaching style, because all the training courses based on development, right? Development the individual's skills and knowledges. Of course, all must be attained to reach the organization goals, the company goals. And training can okay, when the organization offer you some training or learning courses, there is the leaders which is teach you. That it's not like a leader who teach you, the leader who offer you this opportunity to get a new knowledge and skills. As well, it can be a teacher leader who is giving you his or her own the best knowledge and skills. So there is not one answer. We cannot say that the top manager, he's the leader because he give us the opportunity to learn, to get a new knowledges. We can say that for our lecturer or teacher as well can be leader because trying to develop our knowledge and skills. This is all in one style, which is coaching style, we can call it. Yeah, sometimes we can see, like let's say if your top management are not actually leading the learning training courses, if you can see not all the top manager of the organization can lead, can actually, let's say, can run like training courses. Especially they can invite the professionals in that kind of fields, like outsource the consulting companies or some training company who teach you, who give you able to get new knowledges. But this, from the side of top managers, this is the coaching style, because the top manager give you this kind of opportunity, right? So we might differ who is giving you opportunity and who is actually learning, who is let's say studying you, who is teaching you. Who is teaching you is the one person who is offering you this opportunity. This is we can say the most of coaching style. Okay, I hope we have a good discussion about this leadership style. And as I told you, as I present you some leadership style, this kind of leadership styles, we can't say that is a standard leadership style for all the organization or trainers. That we can, the Goldman and and the rest of scientists, they have identified this kind of styles in their work. But for example, for me, I can, for example, identify, let's say, something new, another kind of style, which would be based on my own view, or my own vision. As well, you can identify your own style, leadership style, which would be based on different personality and skills, right? So here is no any kind of like, let's say, one answer for the leadership style, or one type of for the leadership style. Could be different for and based on the different factors, and depends on the individual, on the leader. Okay, I hope it's already been understandable about the styles, the leadership styles. So right now we're going to move for the change. And before starting the change, here is some ideas about which is the best style. The best, we can't say which is, you can identify by your own vision which is the best style in the leadership. But I would say that the best leadership style is that the style where the followers follow the direction of leader, and where the leader can lead the rest of members, right? Because through this leadership, the followers can reach the goals, which can be the, let's say, organization goals if it happens in the organizations, or if in study, let's say it would be like study goals. Let's say my goal in our classes to give you some new knowledge, some skills, and where you can apply in practice, and that brings you some benefits and opportunities for your own future career, for your, let's say, for your future at overall, for your family, for your any kind of opportunity that you can get, or for your future, like study, you might be getting some PhD education. So my main goal in this kind of this leadership style, let's say, when I'm training you, to give those knowledge and skills at that interpretation where you can understand and would be useful in your life, in your business, in your career. That's what do actually all the lecturers, all the teachers, when they are trained and leading, or let's say teaching the students. So, well, here is the change. What is actually the change? The change is something which cannot be avoided in today's competitive business environment. The change happens every day, right? In any situation, in any field of your life. Change can happen in your family, changes in your career, in your business, and at the overall world can be having some changes, and there happens actually. What is actually influence and push the changes? The factors. We have some internal factors and external factors. Right now we are going to learn a change which happens in the organization, in companies, right? Not about the change which happens in the world or in your family. Let's say we have in one field, because at MBA course we are learning how to manage the business, right? So we are talking about the business, about the organization, companies. So we have some factors which influence the changes. For example, the change which happens in the organizations, like external factors. Let's say here is some examples for you. Information technology. If we have, we always have some news from the information technology what happens in the world, right? In economics, in the country. That, of course, influences your organizations. Let's say if you are producing some technology, your production company, and like once your competitor from Japan, like producing something new with more options and functions, the same technology that produce you, but of course it will influence your business. Your sales might be reduced because there is a more new technology, has more functions and options, more interesting for people. And here is the people will have a low demand for your production. And this influence for organization, right? And we have to follow these changes, maybe to copy that kind of new technology, like China do, like almost China control organizations do, or do something new one, have more functionality and options, right? Which would be the better than the compared to the Japanese company. So this is like we talk about the changes. This is the like factors which influence the company. Another one kind of is a global and local competition. Let's say the global and local competition. If you have some, you have like, let's say we have some higher competition in our country among your field, among your business. Of course, this influences your organization, your sales, your profits, and you should make something, creating new products or services, or expand your business. Actually, you have a lot of strategy. I think you have learned strategy management, right? And here is we have some demographic factors which can influence the business. Like demography, what is the demography? Let's say the demography is being increased, or the population is being increased. We have a more customers will be have. Then we have to produce or increase our sales, right? As well, this is based on demography. Our business can be changed, like a process of business or the functions of business. This is all about the external factors which happens in the world in which influence our business, and we have to follow these changes, because we, let's say, when I say we, that means we are like some company, right? If we are small or big, nevertheless we're a company. We cannot resist to such as global changes that happens in the world. We will follow it, right? And the best situation where the rest of competitors or the companies follow you if you do something new one. Let's say based on the information technology. Like, let's say, as I talk about the Japan country, where the most of Japanese engineers, they create something new one, and the rest of the world, they are following these changes, right? Trying to make a copy or create some options for the products. Or USA, or there is a lot of countries which can differ in the information technology or another kind of changes. What about the internal factors? When we talk about the internal factors which happens inside of the organization, inside your company, that as well can influence the business at overall. Let's say we have the managing director in the company, and he been resigned, and we have a new one. Or it doesn't matter how we have a new one. Could be some research changes happens, or the shareholder has a different vision, and we have a new director. New director can have his own vision for the business, right? He might create some new goals for the company, or new direction for the company. And this, like let's say, a leader with a different style, something new one. Of course, he would lead the company in his manner, in his direction. And this is actually a change which happens in the company, and we have to follow these changes. Which means let's say the rest of staff, the rest of employees have to follow these kind of changes that the new director made in the company. This is internal factors. Or the interim facts could be a different example. Let's say we decide to produce a new product. Then all the process in the business would be changed, right? The marketing department must create a new advertisement, a new PR program, and as well, like HR department maybe need to find and to recruit some professional who is able to work with these new products. So all the overall business would be changed. It can affect all departments or the part of departments in the organization, like partly. Let's see the next one. So this is about the change and what factors can be affected. So you can find and search in internet or any kind of literature, let's say the different let's say the levels of changes, the step of changes. In MBA study, we are going to learn about the learning about the changes, what affects, how affects the changes, and what we can do in these situations. What is included, let's say, about the styles, about different styles, let's say, about different levels or interpretation can be given you, that you can learn for yourself to get new knowledges. But as you are leaders, I call you leaders because you are the future's managers of your businesses, your own businesses, or nevertheless the companies. So, as I said before, the leaders, they should know how to direct people. So we at here class, at the rest of class, we learn, we study you, we teach you, and you learn how to make the things possible. That's why. And in the change interpretation, we have some resistance. The resistance which is affect the changes. And what is the resistance? What are the causes of resistance, and why resistance actually exists? We're going to study right now. So here, this is the main question that we are going to answer. So about the resistance and the influence of changes. So here is given to you some external force for change, as we have talked earlier. You remember, based on the external factors like information technology, globalization, competition, and demography. This is the external forces which is influencing the changes, right? Change in the companies. If we talk about the information technology, here is the main, let's say, the interpretation, why the information technology affects or influence the changes. So it is information transfer. The facilitates the global structures. That requires new competence and expectations. That when information technology happens, like and change from the information technology, it facilitates telecommunicating the new employment and relationship. It's more emphasis on the knowledge management. So this is all about information technology. When, let's say, when the changes happens in the organizations, and all these changes comes from the information technology. And here is given to you, let's say, what is happening in the situation and what we can do. Mostly is based on the knowledge management. Like the organization can offer you the training programs if we have some change in the company which affects the information technology. Let's say this is simple one. If you work in financial department, you are accountant, you have a new program based in accounting, a new program. Yes, we have every year we have some new program based on the accounting or how to manage the finance, right? It's like, and let's say you have no knowledge about the skills about this program. Of course, you need some training courses, how to learn about this program and how to work with that program. And this changes. It's like it makes your the daily routines different, right? So you are going to study about the new things, about new program, and all these changes come from the information technology. So here is I just explain you how the changes can influence your routine, your functions, your job action. Or let's say it's sometimes it needs a new employment. Here is this one. It's like if we have some new programs and we have know some trainers who is able to work with that program. So sometimes we need to recruit some professionals who is able to work with that program, right? So this is based on the information technology changes, what we can do and how it happens. Let's see what happens in the globalization competition changes, that when the globalization competition affects your company. First, it says that like global competition. Like if you work in large company, which is multinational, international, let's say, so the changes come from the global, which means you can compete from the companies, some international companies, which might produce the same things as you are. So here is comes the competition from the global, which means from the other countries, let's say. Like technology makes it easy to compete quickly. Like let's say if we are working in one field, we have some competitors overseas. How we can compete with them? We can compete through internet, right? Let's say you're producing some clothes, and as a country from another, let's say you work in Afghanistan, you produce the clothes, and in China, once a company produces the same clothes as you are, let's say they are copying. Of course, this might be like some maybe as normal or some abusely happens, but just let's imagine that they are copying the same clothes as you are, and they can actually produce, they can export their clothes for the overall world. And how to compete with this kind of competitors? Let's say it affects your business because of your sales being decreased. Your profit is being low, is being decreased because of you have no demand for your clothes. All the customers went to that kind of China producer, clothes producer. Then you can make it easily, like let's say to use the internet strategy to make your sales online. Right? To create some website, if you have sold, to have this opportunity to give some options and functions for the customers to buy online. This also like makes your business like quickly for the customer, they can get at any time, let's say, and this expands your sales. So just giving you just examples based on these factors, how it can be in the world, in the life, in the real one. This is based on globalization competition. And technology, which we say like internet, all computers, all technology things, they makes easier for us to compete with the competitors which are overseas, right? And next one, we have some demography forces. What is the demography force? Like today, when demographic factors affect your company, how they can affect you. First, today we can say, to compare for the years, let's say for the different time that we have a more educated workforce, right? Because we have opportunity and ability to get the knowledge, to get an education actually. We want environment, the interesting work. So here is we can see the competitors between the competitors between the employers. Like today, if we would like to recruit some professionals, we can choose among of thousands, which is the best suit for our organizations, because mostly they have a high education, they are interesting to work, interesting to develop, and so on, right? That is almost the things is being familiar. Or younger generation. As well, if we have like more younger generation, that they can be as the competitors for the existing staff. Less intimidated by status, want a more balanced work or life. They can compete, or they can create their own conditions for work. And this actually, when they want to make changes, like to have a more work life and so on, to make conditions work are different, they make changes in your organizations. And this comes from the demographic side. This is because of generation today like this. The younger generation like this. They are more educated, they are more interested in new things, they are like more active and trying to get to be a multi-skilled. But by the way, they want some work life, to have their own life, to have time for their own life, except for individual life. And we have, let's say we are organization as top manager, we must try to manage this kind of people, like let's say from the younger generation, to always offer them some training courses because they want to develop, and this is actually brings some opportunities for our organization as well, because we develop as well, because if our staff being knowledgeable and skilled, it would be resulted in our profits, right? And another one, we have some kind of cultural changes. Here it says that more individualism in traditionally collectivist countries. Like today, we are moving from traditional style of management for some individual style of management. Let's say at any kind of company, we have a different styles of management, and based on individual, based on this leader who manages actually the company itself. And this comes from the cultural changes, because our people are different from the old people, let's say. As you remember, we have learned about the different generation of the employees. You remember which is born before 18, after 19, and after 2000. Like we have a different people with different views. And when this kind of cultural changes happens in the world or in your country, so the company must try to follow these changes. Because if people change, you should try to change your own company, your management style as well. As you are like more smaller, you have a more influence, because these all external factors, they are more globally come from the overall world, right? This we talk about the sizes. The big size can affect the small size, let's say like this. So this is about the external force, how they can be changed. And let me introduce you, we have some Lewin's force field analysis model. This is based on forces and resistance that we have in the changes. And field force analysis model help us understand how the change process works. This is the most important. If you, like we have talking about the change, we have talking about the forces for changes. Now we should know how the works. And one side of the force field model represents the driving forces. Which drives the forces? You remember, as we have talked, some external and internal factors, right? Which push organizations toward a new state of affairs, IT, globalization, competition, demography, all these factors we have talked earlier. And all we call them driving forces. The other side of Lewin's model represents the restraining forces, which maintain the status quo, which actually resist to forces. And restraining forces are also called like resistance to change, as I have told. And let's see this model. I have some picture for you to see, to image how it looks like. Just a moment. Here is, we have a force field analysis. So from the one side, we have a driving forces. From the other side, we have a resistance for forces. And what is the driving forces? At the driving forces, at the moment, from the let's say from the bottom to top, we have some current conditions that we are in the current condition. Now we need to make change in the company, and we are willing to desired conditions, right? And before changes, we have like driving force very low. So restraining force becomes like more strongly. During the changes, like let's say in the company, during the changes is like at the training moment, at the training courses, when we train about the new one things. So our driving force become more strongly, and resistance is become lower. And after the change, we can already reach all our changes, like to reach the desired conditions, and driving force become more strongly. And this force field analysis shows just in the picture how the changes happens in the organizations. And we have some stability. And this is the line between the driving force and restraining forces, which explains you, which occurs actually when the driving and the restraining force are really in equilibrium. They are equal, the driving and the resistance. And when they are approximately equal strength in opposite direction, this is here. Let me show you. It mostly happens at the during of changes. At this stage, we can see some stability. So this is just force field analysis, shows you how the change happens in the organizations and the process of the change itself. Like we have before change, the level of before changes, the situation in the organizations. When the change is not happening in the organizations, but we already knew about these changes. Like for example, the new program will be introduced in our computers. We know the information that we will be having changes. This is the before changes. Then the level comes to the during the changes, in the process already, the process of change. When we already have some training courses for this new program. When we already in the process of learning about this program, this calls the during change. And after that comes after change. When we have been already learned about the new program, we have been trained, and we can work based on this program. This is after change process. This is all about the force field analysis, how it happens actually in the organization. And at the overall, to conclude this analysis, the most of goals, we want to make a change our current conditions for the desired conditions. That's what should be actually. This is like a past and the future. So let's see what kind of resistance we have to the change. As we have talked about what is resistance, why it happens, and let's say what kind of resistance would be for the changes, any kind of change that happens in the organizations. First of all, is the direct cost. Based on our previous example, like we have been introducing new program for our computers, the resistance is a direct cost. Of course, we would have additional cost because we need to train our employees, right, to buy a new program. Of course, this is direct cost will be the most of resistance to the changes. Then another one, saving the face. What that means, the saving face. Sometimes, for example, some employees, they are not able to learn for new things, for new technology, let's say. For a new program would be difficult too. And they fear to, they doesn't want to, they say, to make the change in their life, in their routine. And they like fear to lose their face, like among the rest of colleagues, because they cannot work with this new program, or they won't be understand that kind of problem. This saving face, like. Or if as well, it can be happens. Let's say, if we talk about the overall organizations, the organization have one style to manage and run the business, and then we have some external changes, and we should change our, let's say, the process of businesses, or the brand of business, or something else. Anything could be happen, and in this kind of situation, the company can resist because of to save its face, to save its brand, to save its reputation, to save its the mantra of running the business, and so on. This is saving the face. Wants to be stable and save what they have already, like this. Another one, fear of unknown. This is, let's say, if we talk about the employees, sometimes our employees don't want to learn about the new things and new technology, let's say, and they fear about of unknown. They fear about of new things. They are very already comfortable with those conditions they work actually, like breaking their routines as well. About those employees who doesn't want to break their routine. They like their routines, what they do every day at their work, at their jobs. And the next one, incongruent systems. That also the change for the systems. We don't want to change the system, or let's say the corporate culture in the company, or anything, or the management style in the company. And the last one is the incongruent team dynamics. Sometimes the change which happens in the company, like let's say we have a new director that we have talked earlier, and the new director has his own new management style. And in this regard, as well, the relationship between the colleagues, and as well like a top management and the employee staff, can be changed, right, with a new management style. And it affects our team, our company, and overall our culture, let's say. And here is given to you like this is the forces which affect the changes. So let me see, I have some questions. I haven't seen your chat. So we are trying to complete this presentation, then we can finish the class, okay? Because the topic is not so big one, but anyway, the better is to complete it today. Okay, let's see the next one. How many slides we have? Let me see, just a moment. Okay, we have a few slides we have to finish. And actually, one change happens, and when we have some resistance for change, what we can do in this situation when we have like very strong resistance for change, we can create an urgency for changes. Like, first of all, we have to motivate the employees for changes. The motivation is the best, let's say, the tools to lead the employees and to lead the followers by you. So to motivate them to, for example, let's say to offer them some motivation reverse or something else, like based on the motivation programs, like offer the training, learning courses, programs, and so on. Then more difficult when the organization is doing well. Yeah, that is the true statement. When our organization or business is doing well, it's not necessary. Let's say it doesn't need any kind of changes. In this regard, it would be very difficult and hard to make changes. But if we need that change, we have to make them. And all actual change which happens in the organization, they must be real, not contrived, like a drill that we can do it, they can make it, and to make it full of our employees. And we have as well some customer-driven changes. As you know, the customer-driven change happens every day. Like, let's say our customer demands been changed. They want something new one, or they want more products. Then, of course, it affects your companies, your business. You should follow those changes. Or we should, for example, maybe decrease our cost or like the price for these products. That as well the changes which happen in the business or in the organizations. Okay, I have some questions here. Let me see. Yes, I do read your questions. You have a lot of because you are not. I'm alone. We have around 20 students in the classes, more or less than it, and you have a lot of kind of questions. I am trying to explain you the most important, but sometimes you have a question about the time, the iftar time. As I know, you are living in the different cities, right? And I will try to complete the class at the right time that we should, actually, at the which we actually we run the class for 1.5 hours, right? So we have to complete the classes. Because some of you say that you live in that city or that city, so for me it's difficult to identify which time is the best to complete the classes. Or I have some question about to explain some words like encouragement that I have explained already. I was given the second explanation on the different examples. So be more attentive for what I actually read and say. So if you have some kind of compliance, just write for me or for administration if you have so. Because I don't know what is your compliance actually about, what the compliance for what actually. For every question I do answer, which is belongs for the presentation. But from your side, you should as well, as I advised you previously, to review every presentation before the class being started, to know what I'm going to read actually to teach you. And ask me those questions which is most difficult for you or you haven't been getting. That's why. And if you have some question, because I didn't get what kind of question you have at the moment, just give me that questions. Chat me or anything you want to do. So my suggestion for you, before starting any class, just review all the presentation that I have given. But besides of the presentation, you should read the books that I was giving you as well. The books which includes all the chapters and all the information. Let me tell you one thing, that at MBA course, at any university that you will go, the lecturers, the main goals is to guide you. And the rest of things to read, to review, to have a literacy, you do your own self. We're here to guide you firstly, and to explain you the main things, how it happens actually, but not what it is. Not explain the word itself, which is you've been studied before. You should study before. That's why we are guiding you. We are directing you what to learn, how to learn. But we are not teaching you what it is, just giving you interpretation or description. This is should be done at the school first, at the second at the university when you get in the bachelor. That's that moment. At the MBA courses, at any kind of, if you ask your maybe your friend who's studied at MBA courses, there is the lecturer's main goals to guide the students. To guide the student how to make the things happen. What to read, how to read, and what directions. But we are not going to read and give you all the information that we have in the world. If you search in the Google, let's say. There is, because a lot of information. We are guiding you. And from my side, as you can see, when I have some questions, which I think that question can be, if you would review the presentation before the class being started, you won't be giving me such a kind of question. So we would be having discussion more globally, let's say, about all based on the topics. If we talk about right now about the leadership, about the changes, when I talk about the change, you have to ask me like, if let's say the question should be like, we have in our organization some kind of change, how we can follow those changes, what is the resistance can be about those things, how to manage actually the change in organizations. We talk about how to manage, but not what is the change itself. So that's why I want to explain you. when we talk about the leadership, I was giving you some different styles, but the goal is not give you just the interpretation of styles, but to make you to understand how the leadership works, what we should have to be a leader actually, what kind of personality skills. And you should offer me some your kind, let's say, to give me your own vision or opinion about the leadership if you have so. So this is what we discussed based on the MBA courses. And if you have any kind of ideas, just share with me. So, and the last one, the urgency for change can be like custom driving changes. This is the word says based on the interpretation. Like when the changes in our organization from the side comes from the side of customers. Like let's say the concept that must be changed for quality, for quantity, for anything could be. So we have to try to follow those changes. And here is giving you some picture and some, let's say, the recommendations, how we can minimize the resistance for changes. Like if some of our employees, don't want to change their routines, to break their daily routines. First of all, we have to communicate with the people, with employees. We have to communicate, which means communication, which means explain why we need these changes in our company, why we have to follow it, the reasons, right? Next one comes with the training. If our employees need some training, or people in our organization, we have to offer the training or some learning courses to make our employees to be changed. Next step comes with the employee involvement. That means all the employees, staff which work in the company must be involved in the change. Because if the change influence the company at overall business, at overall process, all the involved must be involved in this kind of changes. Have a training, have a new knowledge and or the skills. And next, if these are all three kind of let's say the recommendations they doesn't work in the minimizing the resistance of change, we can use the stress management. Here is the main phase would be from the top management. They have to make all the employees to follow the changes, to give instructions, to explain, to give a reason, and so on. And already it would be maybe more stressful for the employees because sometimes it comes like it would be like forceful you to make a change. Then negotiation, like if let's say if some of our employees they are not agree with the changes, we can negotiate with them to offer maybe some. Let's say to offer some from the motivation side, like some rewards. If you would change your, let's say, your routines, you will be working with a new program, then we will increase your salary, or you can get some additional bonuses, or you'll be getting for development and so on, or getting some new promotion. Okay, this is about negotiation. Negotiation between the top management and the employees. And the last step will be to minimize the resistance. It's a coercion. Coercion is already, if all these steps are one big work. So the last step from the management side is a coercion, to push for changes, just to force the employees to make a changes, to be changed for the business, for the company. But this is the last one. The first, we have to communicate, training, try to negotiate with the employees, right? To do it all in the good manners. So we have a rest of 3 slides, and we have some rephrasing the desired conditions. How to rephrase the desired conditions section. So creating the organization system and team dynamics to inform the desired change, what we can use. As we have talked about, this will be all this information comes at double the same, like alter rewards to enforce the new behaviors, like offer some rewards for the employees to make them change, to change their behavior. The new information system guide new behaviors, like a new information, some guidelines will be offered for the employees to change their routines, or recalibrate and introduce the feedback system to focus on new priorities, like to show to introduce the employees new vision or the new goals and priorities that we have for the company, which means the goals, the new corporate goals that we are going to reach. This must be all offered for the employees and explain why we should and need to make a change in the company. And actually, sometimes we use the outsourcing to make a change in the company. We call them like a change agents. We can, like, let's say, recruit the agents from the consulting companies, which can training and can help us to make the change in the company. Because of what? Because all these change agents or consultants, they are high professionals people. They have knowledge, all the power, how to effort the changes. They usually like internal changes champions. Or sometimes we can, let's say, choose among our employees, the leaders, who is active in the changes, who can be a leader, for any change that happens in the organization. So we have 2 options: to select the leader among employees who would lead the changes, or to recruit from some consulting or professional companies. And here is the last. Here is given to you the last one is conditions. What conditions should be for diffusing the change? What, let's say, what kind of methods we can use to make a changes? Like successful pilot study will be some condition for diffusing to make the changes. If you have some pilot study in the company is being successful, then in the results, we can use it. Or some favorable publicity, or some top measure support is as well important, like which would be based on motivation and rewards. Labor union involvement can be applied in organizations. Some strategies hybrid well. Some pilot program people moved around. All is based on the pilot study and as well the top management support, which could be used as a good condition to make a changes in the organizations. So that's all about the changes and leadership style that we have the topic for today. Any questions so far based on the changes and resistance and influence on changes? So let me see if we have some questions. So we already can contact the classes. So if not any questions so far, you can go for iftar and have a rest and have a good weekend. So if not any questions, if someone has some kind of complaints, I'm not sure about, let's say, about the study, about the study style, about the presentation or the question or the charts you've been given me, please email me into the administration and we can have a conversation, discussion about this to solve this if you have some kind of problem, let's say, because that must be resolved. So if not any questions, so we're going to complete our class right now. And don't forget that we have a class for the next week, which will be at the Thursday and the Friday. We have two classes on a week. So that's all. Have a good weekend and goodbye.